I recently sat down with my friend Randy Rothwell. Randy has this really wide, eclectic kind of background in worship. He led worship on three of the Integrity Hosanna recordings. He's traveled extensively leading worship and even teaching. He's been on staff of at least three churches that I know of. One a non-denominational church, one was an EPC, Evangelical Presbyterian Church, and one was the Lutheran Church. Last one, 10 years in Denver, Colorado. And so he's got this background that most people don't have and a lot of experience. And you're going to see him in several of these videos because as we talked, he had so much to say. But he recently moved back to his hometown, Paducah, Kentucky, he and his wife. And so they just had gotten there. I knew that they were moving there, and that's not too far from where I live in St. Louis. And so I drove down there to interview Randy, and we were able to actually do the interview at the Carson Center for Performing Arts, and really grateful for those folks allowing us to do that. But one of the things that Randy said as we talked, he talked about rehearsals. And he comes at it from a perspective that I hadn't heard before, at least on some aspects. And so I want to kind of stretch your thinking. And I want you to understand that in watching these videos, you may even at times hear some contradictory or conflicting ideas. And I'm doing that on purpose because I want you to not just think about it from one perspective, but what's going to be right for your situation. So take a look at what Randy had to say about rehearsals.
There are different approaches, different schools of thought. I tend to think a rehearsal is just that. You're rehearsing for what you're going to do, and it's not the time to make it a Bible study or to make it some kind of a counseling session or a prayer team. You can have a little element of that in there, but people have a limited amount of time. Most of the people in the worship team are volunteers. They've worked a full-time job. They get off, they got to be at rehearsal 7. Maybe they had time to go eat something real quick, get a shower, come over to the rehearsal. They're tired. They don't want to hang around forever. They want to know what they're going to do. They want to rehearse it, feel good about it, and move on. And I will always try to maybe have some little devotional element in there. It took 5-10 minutes, but it's not for other things. It's for rehearsing the songs we're going to do and the flow and the nuts and bolts. Are you playing an A minor 7? He's playing a C, or whatever. Or, just let's get on the same page. We're going to do this chorus the second time. We're going to drop out. Whatever. You work on all that stuff. That's what it's for. And if you, as the leader, know exactly what you want to do and what you're looking for, then you won't waste anybody's time. And by that, I just mean, you want people to have fun because they are volunteers, and it's got to be fun for them. If it's a chore, it's no fun. But often, I'm a guitar player. Often guitar players can get off noodling or look what I like, and the singers are sitting around twiddling their thumbs like, come on. We're wasting 20 minutes while you're just doing some lick that's not even related to the song. Just, this is a cool tone, and so people leave and they feel frustrated because they wasted some time. So I think you spend as much time planning the rehearsal as you do the service. Know not only how you're going to start, but know how you want to end. It's like the person who gets up to speak extemporaneously, and they know what they want to say to begin with, but they don't know how to stop. So they ramble on and on, like me. They ramble on, and so know how you want to start the rehearsal, how you want to end it, and keep it crisp and clean. And I said we're being done by 9, then we're done by 9, or maybe 5 till, but not 20 after, week after week. Then people will trust you, and they'll come ready. And in the long run, it'll be better. But then if you need those more spiritual elements, look for, retreat times or special times when you can focus in. And now you're not worrying about which chords you're playing and what harmony you're singing. Now you're just talking about the spiritual, the whys of worship, not the hows, So I think the rehearsal is important. And often people are really good at leading the worship in a church when they're getting feedback, but they don't know how to, the dynamic of how to work with musicians, which it can be very frustrating because you got someone who's really good and someone who's just kind of getting in and is timid, someone who's done it a while, and some people who don't take it very seriously. Some people, so you have to balance all of that and try to get everybody on the same page. And often you're rotating people, and it's not the same people every week, and so you got to start it all over again. So yeah, I think the rehearsals are every bit as important. And we would do a Thursday night, but then before the service, there'd be a little sound check / let's go over the tougher parts of that transition or whatever. Not so much that it just made everybody so nervous, but often it was for me to know, did you remember what we worked on so hard Thursday night? Did you remember that ending? Because it was tricky. I just want to, I want to feel settled. So rehearsals are important.
Randy had a lot to say in there about rehearsals, but I want to make sure that there are some very specific takeaways from this. And the biggest one is the point that I highlighted in there about spending time preparing for the rehearsal. What a big issue. And I know that we've talked about lots of things about rehearsals in the past, and this might be a little bit different from that, but I want to revisit something I said at the beginning, that I'm going to try to give you things that are different, that are going to kind of stretch you. You might go online, find some videos from one particular group that they say you have to do it this way because this is how we do it. I'm just not sure that's right, because there are people who are being successful all over the world, and they do things very differently. So I just want you to think through this. Could this be something that's helpful for you in your setting, where you're taking time to plan your rehearsal, how much time you're going to spend on each particular song? Because otherwise you're going to have people leaving frustrated. You don't want to do that. Certainly not week after week. I mean, I know somebody at times, there's going to be times that people are going to leave, somebody's going to leave frustrated. I get that. We're all different. But if you have that happen week after week, that's going to be an issue that you don't want. And so preparing, making sure that you're ready, and thinking about the personalities of the people that you're dealing with, and how you're going to introduce them to this particular thing, or whatever it might be in that rehearsal setting. Taking the time to prepare for that is going to leave you a lot better off in the long run.
Brought to you by myworshipleadingcoach.com.
Helping you to be more fully equipped as a worship leader.